Morning, driver. How's it going? You're aware of your job today, I gather? It's an end-to-end return track inspection on the Medway Valley. The weather could have been better, but it is what it is. You can still get the job done. The engineers haven't had chance yet, so remember, before you go, you need to attach the camera. Have a good one, and we'll see you back here later on. Cheerio.
Platform 3 for the 0958 Southeastern service from Cambridge. This train terminates here. If you see anything suspicious, please report it to a member of staff or the police.
You made it to Padded Wood then. Well done. This rain really isn't getting any easier, is it? Anyway, shut down the cab and then change ends for the return journey. Make sure you remember the tail lights. No need to switch the camera either. It'll work just fine at this end.
So there is half of the scenario for you. As you can tell, my voice is kind of shot. This is a cracker of a route. My love for the Medway line, I already expressed it in my video last week in Train Sim Classic. The performance on the route is excellent. Everything looks absolutely beautiful. You get 5 scenarios, as you saw. There's about 480 timetable entries, including for the 3753, the 6, I think it's a 395, the 700, the Class 66. I have all layers, so you saw some stuff on the Chatham main line going on to the Southeastern High Speed. And that Southeastern High Speed and Milton Keyes do layer onto this some traction. So obviously I have all the layers, so I have all the locomotives, other than I think it's the Flying Scotsman. All in all, this is a cracker of a route. I love this route. I've been spending the last 2 days driving it. A special thanks to Kit and Cindy. I woke up from a nap and they had bought it for me, knowing I love this route. And I can't thank them enough. It's a brilliant route. It's well done. It's done by 5, 6 guys that are just modders. It's not a dovetail thing. Things I noticed, but this is mostly because of RailDad, that were a bit off. I do have the TPWS working, and he didn't have the GSMR being able to register, but that is because he switched to expert mode during Midway. One thing he did mention, this has way more pages. He does sign out of, is it Tonbridge or Strood? So he knows this, he lives in this area. And he's a real world train driver for like over 17 years or so. He did passenger for 7 or 8. He knows the 375. This has way more screens on it, the map thing here. One thing that was great was if you have a guard on and the doors are closed, the guard will close the doors. Well, you close them and then it's simulating him doing it. But you'll notice one of the doors will stay open. That's the guard. And he's looking to make sure all the doors are clear and all that stuff. And then it'll close and then he'll buzz you and you'll get a... and you do the ding ding back to him. The communications with the dispatcher were a bit off. Like rather casual, but the fact that you actually can use it, talk to the dispatcher, you get different dispatchers depending on where on the route you are, things like that. You saw the arcing, the sparking, you not only got the sight, you also got the sound. The motors are brilliant. This is what happens, as he said. You saw the people going through the turnstiles, and the lights and everything else like on it are all working, and the gates open and that. It'd be nicer if they, put their cell phone down or a bus pass or a ticket and they opened, but that is a real minor nitpick, let's be honest. The fact they're there is great. The scenario started outside the train and not even in the station. That was brilliant. The rest of this scenario, I'm just driving back exactly what we did. The motor sounds are awesome. The inside sounds of the cab are great. The interior, I think, is excellent. We could take a quick walk, look-see, if you will. Let's go over here. Open... let's just do this. Come here. Why are you not working for me, please? Thank you. Hello. I'm going to go, don't worry, I'm going to go through a passenger door. And I'll walk you through the, there we go. Why do I keep losing my cursor for some reason? Is this accurate? I'm going to say yes. I mean, there is nothing about this route I don't like. I think are they purple? I hope so, because I love purple. But the route itself it's worth the money. Now, if you happen to not really, yes, you can open the door and the toilet flushes and everything else. I'm not going to do it. But for this, well, obviously I didn't close the gate, but you would go in here and you would do the whole setup again and you just drive back. So in my book, this is a 5 out of 5. If you're more of a U.S. route kind of guy, you like U.S. routes, then the Stanford route that came out, people were anticipating. That is another cracker of a route. Absolutely brilliant. The motor sounds on that, just like this, are absolutely awesome. This is what happens when you get modders and developers that actually know how to use the game engine and Unreal Engine properly, which I've said for years, Dovetail does not know how to get the most out of this stuff. These individuals do, and it shows. That's going to do it for this one. I thank you for watching. Do pick it up. I think it's worth it at full price. If that's not within your ability at this time, add it into your wish list and wait for a sale. I don't think you will be disappointed, especially if you already own Southeastern and Milton Keynes. Until the next time, I want to thank you for watching. I want you to stay safe, be kind to one another, keep the blue side up, and I'll see you in the skies, on the rails, and on the road. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. God bless. Have a great weekend. Well done, gentlemen, and if ladies were involved in making this route. You did a banger of a job. Absolutely spectacular.